There's no way. Look, though, look. Players like this come around once, sometimes in our lifetime. Mm-hmm. There hasn't been
once in a generation, certainly.
But no player in NBA, in WNBA history, has had to deal with this.
The one thing I just don't like, and I don't care what people say, I feel like there's a lot of hate on Caitlin Clark, and I think because she's white.
When NBA legends speak, people listen not because they have to, but because these are the guys who've been through it all. So when names like Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley, and George Gervin start speaking up for Caitlin Clark, it signals something bigger than the usual media chatter. This isn't scripted praise, it's real talk, calling out the WNBA, the media, and players who've treated Clark more like a threat than a teammate. These legends helped build professional basketball, and now they're pressing the league to do better. Some are comparing her impact to Tiger Woods, while others point out that if she's not playing, people aren't tuning in. They're naming what others have avoided: race, jealousy, and resentment, and putting real pressure on the league to evolve. Even former players like Jeff Teague are jumping in with raw, unfiltered opinions. This isn't just about one rising star, it's about whether the WNBA is ready to embrace change and finally achieve the relevance it's been chasing for years.
Ain't nobody gonna watch basketball if she ain't playing.
Jeff Teague said, "Nobody's watching if she's not playing." It hit harder than most of the takes out there right now. He wasn't guessing, and he definitely wasn't exaggerating. He was being honest. And that truth stings a little. A former NBA All-Star openly saying that one WNBA player, Caitlin Clark, is the main reason people are tuning in. That's a big deal. He wasn't trying to hype her up or hand out compliments. He's been in the game long enough to recognize real star power when he sees it. And Caitlin has it. She's not just boosting ratings, she is the ratings. And Teague didn't stop there. He didn't just give her credit. He made it clear, Caitlin Clark is the face of the league.
She the best.
She's the best ever, bro. I don't care, bro. She's the best ever, bro.
So she gonna be like LeBron with the stats.
So let's take a step back here. This isn't just casual barbershop talk. This is a former NBA All-Star, someone who played at the highest level, putting Caitlin Clark in the conversation with all-time greats. Just 2 years into her pro career. And it's not just about stats, it's about what those numbers represent. Jeff Teague sees the game shifting toward her. He's not just predicting success, he's predicting long-term dominance. The kind that shows up in wins, championships, and massive contracts. And what makes his words hit even harder, he was serious. No smile, no joke. He meant every word. Teague isn't known for handing out praise lightly. This is the same guy who once said he didn't think Kawhi Leonard was that great after guarding him. So when someone like Jeff says Caitlin Clark could be the LeBron of women's basketball, people take notice. And if that wasn't enough, the next endorsement didn't even need words. Michael Thompson, a two-time NBA champ and father of Klay Thompson, has spent his life around the biggest stars in basketball. So when he speaks up about Caitlin, it just confirms how big she's already become.
When I was in Indy, I didn't care about that. The only thing I remember about Indy is when I was leaving Cambridge Arena in the loading dock, Caitlin Clark walked right by me, and I froze. I didn't say hello to her. How about that? My favorite basketball player outside of Klay was right there in front of me. There she was, and I said, "No, I can't do it." But getting back to your question, you're right. That's what I remember most about Indiana. Caitlin Clark was right there next to me.
It didn't freeze in front of Michael Jordan. He didn't choke round Magic Johnson. But when Caitlin Clark walked by, Michael Thompson was speechless. That's not just respect, that's all, because he wasn't reacting to just another talented player. He was reacting to a cultural force, someone who changes the energy in the room. Caitlin's not just competing in the WNBA, she's helping to reshape it. And when a man who raised Klay Thompson says she's his favorite player, that's not hype. That's a stamp of approval from someone who knows exactly what greatness looks like. She's broken through every wall: men's game, women's game, fans, players, and now legends. And just when it seemed like the praise couldn't get any bigger, Magic Johnson stepped in. He didn't just compliment her, he gave her a challenge and a crown. Magic knows what it means to carry a league. He's done it with the spotlight, with the pressure, and with critics watching. So when he talks about Caitlin Clark, he's not just being kind, he's putting her in a place of real significance.
They're going to be tested by these incredible women who've been in the league for a long time. Caitlin is the most popular WNBA player, but she's not the best at this time. Just like Larry and I were not the best when we entered the league. We became the best later on by our play. Caitlin still has to play great to become the best WNBA.
It's not hate, it's a standard, and coming from Magic Johnson, it's actually a form of respect. He's not just saying Caitlin Clark is popular, he's saying she's on a path. That mirrors legends like himself and Larry Bird. Caitlin's not being graded on a curve anymore. She's being held to the same expectations as the all-time greats. That's how big this moment is, and the best part, Magic isn't counting her out. He's encouraging her, you've got the spotlight, now go take the crown. But not every legend kept it that cool. One Hall of Famer said what a lot of fans have probably been thinking, but haven't said out loud. Reggie Miller, one of the sharpest shooters and boldest trash talkers the NBA has ever seen, didn't call for patience. He called for a fight when he saw the way Caitlin's been targeted and tested. He didn't offer sympathy, he offered a challenge. Reggie's always played with an edge, and now he wants to see Caitlin push back just as hard.
Now, what I would love Caitlin to do is get up one time and then just slap the out of her.
And this isn't some offhand comments, it's a line full of frustration. Not from Caitlin Clark, but from Reggie Miller himself. He sees what's going on, the constant hits, the hard fouls, and the strange silence from the league and other players, and he's had enough. Because when you've got someone driving viewership, pulling in fans, and raising the sports profile, you protect her. No excuses. The fact that no one has, that's why Reggie spoke out. Not because he wants drama, but because it might take something bold to finally get people's attention. And speaking of bold, Robert Horry, 7-time NBA champion, is someone who knows how to deliver a message that sticks. He doesn't talk often, but when he does, he's sharp, direct, and honest. So when Shaquille O'Neal recently said Caitlin Clark should wait her turn, Horry didn't sugarcoat his response. He didn't defend Shaq. He didn't tiptoe around it. He shut that whole idea down with just one sentence.
Shaq said he loved Caitlin Clark, but, quote, she needs to wait her turn. Do you agree with the idea that great players, no matter how great they are, need to wait their turn? This was from Ben.
Hey, first of all, let's start off with Shaq. You ain't wait your turn.
Straight up, this wasn't just a response. It was a challenge to everyone still clinging to the idea that Caitlin Clark needs to slow down or earn her respect. Corey Hightower isn't having it. Not when the league is already cashing in on her name. Not when she's the reason the spotlight is even on women's basketball right now. The truth is, Caitlin's done more in a few months than some players managed in a decade, and Corey knows it. He's seen stars rise. He knows what greatness looks like, and in his eyes, Caitlin doesn't need to wait, she's already there. And if that wasn't enough, Paul Pierce took things to another level. He said outright that what Caitlin Clark is facing today is unlike anything any other player has dealt with before. And he would know, Paul Pierce has been through it, pressure, expectations, big moments. He's lived it all, but when he looks at Caitlin, he sees a different kind of weight. One even he never had to carry, and when he said it, it wasn't casual, it was real. And it came from a place of deep respect, something that only someone who's been in that pressure cooker can truly understand.
Players like this come around once, sometimes in our lifetime. There hasn't been
once in a generation, certainly.
But no player in NBA, in WNBA history, has had to deal with this, right?
What?
What she's dealing with.
What?
Like,
what is she dealing with?
Fouling from day one already, but she's been crowned. I mean, she's already nobody. Who was the face of the league in the first few years of the WNBA?
Pause. That stutter. That was Paul Pierce searching for a comparison and not finding one. Because there isn't one. Caitlin Clark didn't just join the league. She became its center of gravity overnight. Endorsement deals, rating spikes, non-stop. Media coverage, every player, young or veteran, is watching her. Pierce understands what it's like to be labeled the next big thing too soon. He knows the pressure that comes with that. But Caitlin's carrying even more narratives around race, tension in the locker room, silence from the league, and cameras on her 24/7s. Pierce didn't say she's perfect. He didn't act like she's already made it. What he said was simple, but powerful. No one's ever had this much thrown at them, this fast, and she's still standing. And then Kevin Garnett stepped in and he took it somewhere deeper. KG doesn't play nice for the cameras. He doesn't hold back. And he doesn't care who gets uncomfortable. When he talked about Caitlin Clark, it wasn't just analysis, it was raw, honest, and personal. The kind of truth that hits different. Because it's coming from someone who's lived the game at the highest level. And isn't afraid to say exactly what he sees.
Privilege too, though. It's a privilege, though. It's a privilege to be in a position where others are hating on you. And when others are hating on you, that means you're doing something right. You know what I'm saying?
That Kevin Garnett flipped the whole story about Caitlyn facing hate on its head. Most people see the backlash, the cold stares, the scowls, and wonder, why is this happening? But KG sees it differently. He says, good, because hate only comes when you're a real threat. Caitlyn Clark isn't just another player, she's shaking up the old way of doing things. She's making moves in money, media, and culture. And the hate, that's just proof she's making an impact. KG knows what it's like to be the target, the player everyone wants to stop. He's not offering sympathy, he's giving her advice. He's telling her what every legend learns eventually: if people aren't mad at you, you're not pushing hard enough. But then came a legend who took things even further. Rick Barry didn't just say things are unfair, he demanded change. He didn't tiptoe around the issue or sugarcoat it. He went straight for the heart of the problem. While some former players are only now admitting that Caitlyn is getting hit more than she should, Barry called for action, making it clear this can't be ignored any longer.
I think it's reprehensible what they're allowing some of these players. Anybody that does something flagrant to this young lady for what she's brought to the game should be suspended and fined big time for doing that.